Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to my apartment in downtown New Orleans. The whole pandemic thing continues. Still doing my radio show from my apartment here in downtown New Orleans, and I'm sure many of you are still affected by all of that as well. Um, this is the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. Hey, we got some new subscribers, so thank you for subscribing. I think we're just over 350 now, 350. Well, let's get to 400. Come on, tell your friends, just subscribe. We'll let you know when we do something new. We're now posting on the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And Wednesday and Saturday are part of the Truth Behind the Microphone series. This is going to be just a Manic Monday update on the weekend. And it was a crazy freaking weekend. I mean, it was nuts. For those of you who are not in this immediate area, in New Orleans and in this part of the country, we were dealing with a tropical storm, Cristobal. And it really wasn't that bad. I mean, some people suffered minimal tropical storm. Some people suffered flooding, and I feel badly for those people who did suffer. But overall, it was very, very minimal. But I want to talk about hate. It's a great topic, hate. It's a topic that you could talk about endlessly now because there's so much of it. There's always been hate, always. But the political hate today that is associated with political debate has never been as bad. It's never been as hypocritical and obnoxious as it is today. And I've been in this business a long time. So I've dealt with a lot of hate. I've dealt with a lot of political discussions over the years, and it's never been like this before. Here's an example. The New Orleans police chief, Chief Ferguson, held a press conference today. And it was about an incident that happened on a bridge, the bridge that connects the East Bank of New Orleans with the West Bank of New Orleans. It's called the Crescent City Connection. It is the Mississippi River Bridge. Last Wednesday night, some protesters went onto the bridge. And their goal may have been to get across the bridge to Jefferson Parish and have a confrontation with Jefferson Parish Sheriff's deputies. That appears to have been the goal. It didn't happen. NOPD locked arms, stood strong, and the protesters did not get beyond this point. To disperse the crowd, which would not disperse, tear gas was fired into the crowd. Our police chief said that's all that was fired. But protesters reported rubber bullets, rubber balls were fired into the crowd. And the police chief insisted that it was only tear gas. Well, his press conference today set the record straight. He said he was not informed properly. And he's mad about that. He's upset that he was not given the proper information. And that these rubber balls, these rubber bullets were used. And he set the record straight on that. And Chief Ferguson did it in a very honest, transparency, did it with honesty and transparency. And it was really refreshing. It was one of the most honest, transparent press conferences I remember any official ever having in the city of New Orleans. I thought it was great. So there's an investigation. The commanding officer did not order the rubber bullets fired into the crowd. So what does that mean? Does that mean that a couple of rogue police officers took it upon themselves to fire the bullets? And is that appropriate? Is that against police protocol? I don't think you have to be an expert in law enforcement or the military to understand the principle that the group of law enforcement officers, the group of soldiers, they all need to be in unison with what the commanding officer says. And if the commanding officer did not give the order to shoot the rubber bullets, who did? I think the officers have been identified to the police department. I don't think they gave out their names. Maybe they did. Anyway, there's an investigation. But here's what was happening on Facebook, on my Facebook page, Scoot on the Air. I posted a video about the press conference and saying, you know what, I think this was a I think it was a good press conference. And there were people saying, well, they should have fired the bullets. They should have fired the rubber bullets into the crowd because the crowd would not disperse. Now, this is coming presumably from people who are not really there. My question is it right for police officers to make the decision to fire the rubber bullets if it did not come from a commanding officer? Is that good policing? Is that police protocol? Okay, look, I'm a commanding officer, but you guys kind of do whatever you want. And then there's criticism of my opinion and me for supporting the investigation and saying that if the order wasn't given, then they shouldn't have been shot. If the order was given and it was determined by the commanding officer at the time that this was the way to take care of the crowd, then it should have been done. But I don't think it's safe to go with this rogue mentality of some police officers doing one thing and others not following along. Ask former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. He's in jail, but you could ask him how he feels about what happens to you if you don't follow police protocol. And for all those who have been critical of me or anybody else for questioning the death of George Floyd, why don't you contact all the police officers, all of the experts that have said it was murder? Why don't you talk to them? Well, you can't get to them, so you feel like it's okay to, attack the talk show host or the person here on social media? Talk to the real people. Talk to the people who know, who have supported what I've said and what many others have said. And then, did you notice that guy, that 75-year-old guy who was pushed down by police officers in Buffalo, New York? He wasn't pushed that hard, but he was pushed and he fell backwards. His head hit the ground. Immediately, blood started coming out. Did you notice that a police officer instinctively tried to stop and help him, and another police officer pulled him back? The police officer pulled him back from helping the man on the street who was freaking bleeding. Is that good police work? I don't know. I'm not a police officer. I'm a citizen. I'm an honest citizen, talk show host on social media, and I comment on things. But it seemed like more could have been done to help that guy. But it was almost as if we help him, then we admit we did wrong. 2 Buffalo police officers were suspended without pay, and the entire emergency response team in Buffalo resigned over that. I don't know what the latest is concerning that. And for those who want to continue to bring up that George Floyd was killed by the police officer in Minneapolis, that he had these past encounters with the law, they've been arrested before. Nobody has done it yet. I have asked for the information. For all of those who are saying, well, they had all these other problems, this is what happens when you get in trouble with the law. Nobody has been able to explain to me how the law and the Constitution say that those things that he did caused him to deserve the death penalty. Nobody, not one person. People are bold with their opinions. This is all about politics. I'm a radical moderate. I'm a registered independent. I'm not going to buy into the bullshit of either party because it's bullshit. And I'm going to determine how I feel about issues and situations based on what I see, not based on what the leaders of a political party would tell me to believe. And so many people are not independent thinkers, and all they do is they follow their leaders. And, America has lost the ability to be independent thinkers. Well, not all of us, but some of us. So I encourage you I encourage you to be a radical moderate. I encourage you to register independent. Screw those political parties. If you're a registered Republican, if you're a registered Democrat, don't just vote for the candidate that your registration is affiliated with. Vote for the best candidate, period. And a lot of polls show that President Trump seems to be in trouble. And now the White House is talking about President Trump delivering a speech, a major speech on racial tension and unity. I can't think of a better person, can you? Who would be better to talk about unity and racial tension than President Donald Trump? If he delivers this speech, it will be an eloquent speech written by great speechwriters, because all presidents have that option, and they use it. But is it going to be sincere? Americans are like cynical consumers. They're not just going to believe the bullshit that's said in a commercial or that's said by talking heads. They're not just going to believe what's said. They're going to question it. And consumers question products, and they question commercials. And consumers are very cynical. Voters are cynical too. It's time for voters to be even more cynical. And man, stop believing that party that has this spell on you. Stop believing the leaders that have this spell on you. I guess that's the best way to put it. People are walking around like zombies. I believe this, I believe that, or whatever they say. Yeah, and then you regurgitate the stuff that they say. It's not original. I hear the same stuff from the same people. That all seems to be coming from basically the same source. So, it's discouraging. But I'm confident that enough of us can help this country break out of this trend. And let's talk about the hypocrisy of politics too. How many people are not wearing masks as a badge of honor, as a political bumper sticker that they are Trump supporters? Now, not everybody who's not wearing a mask is a Trump supporter, but this is a generalization, and it seems to be accurate. So you've got people not wearing masks showing that they're Trump supporters. They don't talk about social distancing. They don't talk about wearing masks. They don't take the coronavirus pandemic as seriously as some of us do. But now they're complaining about the protesters getting together. What hypocrisy. You're bold without, if you're not wearing a mask, and if you're so into this is not a big deal, then you have no right to complain about the protesters all gathering together. From the standpoint of a radio talk show host, from the standpoint of somebody who does social media like this, there is insanity in the world. And damn it, I'm not going to give up on trying to help encourage us to use common sense and to be fair and to be independent thinkers and not follow the leaders on both sides. Polls are showing that President Trump is no shoe-in. He could have been. If he would have handled the coronavirus pandemic with empathy, sincerity, and true care for other people, if he would have tried to bring the country together, he, like other presidents, would have seen a big boost in his approval rating during a crisis. But instead, he plays to his base. His base is this big compared to everybody who votes. His base is not big enough to reelect him. Because there are Republicans, there are Democrats, independents, moderates, who make up this big group of voters. So it will be interesting to see what happens. President Trump still has a chance to win people over and be reelected because people have short memories. If President Trump all of a sudden started doing the right thing, people would forget about all this. So let's see if he does. He's got a chance. He has the opportunity. It's there. Let's see if he does. I do a radio talk show on WWL Radio in New Orleans. It's 105.3 FM. It's 870 AM. And it's on radio.com. Stream the show wherever you are, radio.com. You'll either love me or hate me. And that's not day to day. That's like sometimes hour to hour. So you can join me tomorrow from 1 to 4, New Orleans time, Central Daylight Time, 1 to 4. Download the app, radio.com. Type in WWL, and boom. You just hit the button. You've got me. You've got our station, WWL, wherever you have your phone. So coming up Wednesday night, another episode of The Truth Behind the Microphone. And what I'm trying to offer you is some insight from a talk show host who could let you know a little bit about the truth behind the microphone. Because I think it's important for everybody who consumes the media to better understand the media. And that goes for a lot of people who are actually on the air. And then Saturday night, another episode of The Truth Behind the Microphone and another Scoot story. And if you haven't seen it yet, the video that is posted, the show is posted here on my YouTube channel from Saturday, is all about why the hell so many people think I'm freaking gay. What might have led people to think that I'm gay? And when you hear the reasons, it's ridiculous. And it just goes to show you how simple-minded some people are when it comes to judging other people. So I was very honest about that. So that's an entertaining, sometimes kind of humorous YouTube episode. Anyway, I'm Scoot. Thank you for joining me here on the Scoot on the YouTube channel. Please become a subscriber. We're just over 350. Let's try to get to 400. By the way, I have some merchandise on the way. We'll give you a chance to get some merchandise soon. So subscribe, and that will give you an alert every time we go on YouTube. We may build this into something really big. It's an extension of my radio show right now. It's the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. I'll get fun graphics. We may even have a set one day. And it will all be because of your support. So I love you guys, and I thank you.